Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Tuesday, 25th February 2025, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Antigua and Barbuda's Gaston Browne reacts to World Bank's stark report on Caribbean education sector. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Browne is agreeing with the damning findings of a World Bank report on the failings of the Caribbean education system. Prime Minister Browne says his administration has already been taking steps to transform the education system in Antigua and Barbuda and will accelerate those efforts. He says technology will be used to ensure specialist teachers are able to reach students from various schools. He was speaking on Point FM Saturday afternoon, fresh from the Caribbean Heads of Government meeting in Barbados, where the issue was also discussed. ABS's Garfield Burford reports.
The World Bank's report is damning. Its first line says, quote, the Caribbean is facing a severe education crisis with recent data revealing critical gaps in learning outcomes, end quote. The report also says, quote, a lack of strong foundational skills in literacy, numeracy, and critical thinking is at the heart of the problem, end quote. Prime Minister Honorable Gaston Browne agrees the region's education system is still based on colonial constructs. He says significant investments will be needed to make the transition to the post-colonial era, and his government is willing to put its money where its mouth is. One of those areas would include using technology to allow some teachers to provide instruction to students at various schools. That requires a strong broadband architecture, and the Prime Minister says that's why the government is investing in its own subsea fibre through the APUA. CARICOM Chair and the Barbados Prime Minister Mia Motley agrees the region's education system needs an overhaul.
The community took a decision that the time had come now for the establishment of a CARICOM Educational Transformation Commission, and over the course of the next few weeks we will complete the terms of reference for that commission and the composition of that commission, because we all accept that our educational systems are not fit for purpose. They were designed for a colonial period with a hierarchical structure that only saw a few of our people.
She says the time is now to address the issue, as the education system must produce citizens equipped with the skills needed for the current environment. It's an issue expected to drive intense discussions across the CARICOM region.
The International Monetary Fund says the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union economy is recovering, but challenges remain. Andre Huey of SKN Newsline has that report.
The International Monetary Fund, the IMF, is reporting economic recovery in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl, which struck several islands last, but says challenges remain. The ECCU, the IMF says, has demonstrated resilience in the face of external shocks, such as Hurricane Beryl, with strong recovery driven by tourism. However, the fund is concerned, as it says challenges remain, including high public debt, a slowing growth outlook, and vulnerabilities from reliance on energy imports and citizenship by investment revenues. According to the IMF, to support long-term growth and fiscal sustainability, ECCU economies must address structural bottlenecks, improve fiscal resilience, and enhance financial systems. This includes strengthening labor markets, expanding vocational training, advancing green energy, and ensuring resilient infrastructure. Policies should also target fiscal consolidation, reducing public debt, and building fiscal buffers to support future shocks, while leveraging regional coordination for effective financial oversight, the IMF said. Efforts to improve financial intermediation, particularly for small businesses, and addressing credit access constraints are vital for driving private investment. the IMF added. Additionally, the fund says that strengthening anti-money laundering frameworks and enhancing regional data collection and processing will support evidence-based policymaking. The region's future growth is dependent on tackling these structural issues, said the IMF, and implementing coordinated policies to foster stability, resilience, and inclusive growth. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
In some tragic news now, a mother of 4 is among 3 people shot and killed in Guanapo in Trinidad and Tobago. The woman's 6-year-old son was also shot and injured in the attack that has left residents reeling, while a motive for the country's first triple murder for the year is yet to be established. Police are not ruling out being gang-related. Jesse Ramdio of CNC3 News tells us more.
The lives of Anicia James, her brother Anselm, and her common-law husband, Michel Francois, were cut short Saturday night when 2 gunmen stormed the family's Guanapo home in Arima and opened fire on them. A relative of one of the deceased says the attack was cold but not calculated.
The gunmen just came and started spraying. Well, see what going.
The man said one of Anicia's 4 children remains warded at hospital, nursing gunshot injuries. And while he could not say whether the triple murder was gang-related, he was at least able to vouch for Anicia's character, describing her as honest, hardworking, and humble.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, you killing innocent people. Yeah, all right. You want to come for one person, right? You're shooting up a house, and then with a children and people, all our people in the house. If you understand what I say, look for whoever you want to look for, and don't kill innocent people.
When CNC3 News visited the scene on Sunday, police led by DCPs Suzette Martin and Kate Simon were still conducting investigations and canvassing the area for evidence. Last year, residents of the area implemented a self-imposed curfew as one of the strategies to safeguard themselves following an escalation in gun and gang violence in the area.
The police say no. Respond to my quick as they should respond in an area like this. Because, as I say, the police was right or wrong when the incident happened. The police was right on the street when the incident happened. So.
The residents are now concerned that the incident could reignite gun violence in the area. Jesse Ramdale, CNC3 News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antiguan Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The Bahamas' Commissioner of Police, Shanton Knowles, speaks on the latest crime stats.
Commissioner of Police Shanton Knowles revealing she is pleased to see a drop in crime in the country, particularly regarding murder. At this point in the year, there has only been 12 murders recorded when compared to 2024. The country had already seen 21 by the end of January. It was the deadliest month of the year, which saw an 8% increase in homicides compared to the year prior. Last year, the Davis administration unveiled its crime-fighting strategy dubbed Clear, Hold, and Build, which Commissioner Knowles, upon taking office, fully adopted. She laments, however, she remains cautiously optimistic.
I believe that the good work that the men and women of the Royal Bahamas Police Force are doing, their commitment, their dedication to ensuring that our Bahamian people and those who visit our islands are safe is certainly contributing to that. But then, of course, members of the public are also assisting us, and I want to say thank you to them for assisting us in our policing duties day to day. And so, again, I encourage my men and women to continue to be out there on our streets. The people need us. They are seeing us. I'm hearing the good works from the people in the community, and I believe all of this certainly contributes to what the numbers, the low numbers that we're seeing, and we're hoping that and praying that it stays that way.
In the meantime, Prime Minister Philip Davis responds to questions on FTX in the House of Assembly.
Off the top tonight, the now defunct FTX officially began chipping away at the massive task of reimbursing creditors after its high-profile collapse at the end of 2022. Now, according to DLNews.com, on this past Monday, February 18th, the failed crypto exchange company began its first round of repayments in the United States, targeting those with smaller claims. The article noted that some creditors have expressed disappointment that FTX repayments are calculated using November 2022 asset prices. But if you ask Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis, there's no disappointment here in the Bahamas. He touted in the House of Assembly last week that all FTX local stakeholders have been financially rewarded.
100% recovery for all investors. All investors plus, right? And guess what? The court awarded our Securities Commission $10 million, right? For the work that is done to enable for the protection of those investors, to enable them to be able today to smile to say, well, you got all our funds back. When the doom and gloom was being spewed all over the world, we focused, we stayed focused, and we did what we had to do to ensure that that's what you should be talking about, and that's what you should be proud of.
The deportation of Caribbean nationals by the Donald Trump administration in the U.S. is not so much a CARICOM issue as it is a matter for the individual member states. This from CARICOM Chair Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley. She says each government is making its own arrangements to receive its citizens for resettlement.
We all agreed that the most important thing is for us to have the information attached to the persons who will be coming back. All of us accept that it is the right of any government to determine who should be within the jurisdiction of the particular country. The President of the United States and his administration has made it clear. We have asked each in our own right for that information to help us to be better able to prepare. We hope that at some point within the next month or two to have high-level engagement with the United States government generally, not just on this issue.
Meanwhile, CARICOM remains concerned about the declared change in U.S. trade policy. Andrew Holness, who has responsibility for external trade negotiations in the CARICOM quasi-cabinet, says many businesses have reached out as the private sector is concerned. He adds, however, that the region has a well-established office for trade negotiations, and they will be using the resources to study the challenges that could come and provide guidance going forward.
We will therefore be conducting a very detailed review of our trade situation with the United States, and we hope that in another 3 or 4 months we will have a document which will give us a policy direction and give advice and support to the governments of the region as to how to treat with any potential change that may happen in U.S. foreign policy.
CARICOM relations with the United States need to be nurtured by direct discussions with President Donald Trump. So says President of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali, who has led responsibility for agriculture and food security in the CARICOM quasi-cabinet. Dr. Ali was in Barbuda for the recent CARICOM Heads of Government Summit.
The U.S. administration cannot receive information from a third hand or a second hand. From what I have seen, very soon we have to ensure that we have a full engagement with the U.S. administration, laying out our priorities, listening to, we already know that there will be heavy focus on the Western Hemisphere, but we see opportunities. Yes, there is a lot of challenges globally now, but we see opportunities as we work towards strengthening our relationship.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.